What's up, everyone? What is going on? It is your boy Izlo33. Welcome to the League of Legends client for the first time ever. In a long time, I should say. Today we've got a Worlds 2023 unlocked capsule to open. My rewards have finally come through, including the nice pass stuff. Already unlocked some skins with the extra stuff. Namely, we get the World's Renekton, we get a legendary Chroma for this. That was a part of the unlocked bundle, just so you know I've got it. No wards. We get this nice Runeterra Gothic icon. No items. Don't even know why I have anything like that. It's weird. But what we do have is the awesome emote and the Kiss the Ring Teemo emote from the set as well. I think the most important thing that people want to see is this guy. The reason this is so popular or wanted is because you can get that ribbon skin. We've talked about it before. I'm hoping we get something that we get, because we're guaranteed a random pass world skin that's permanent. The issue for me is, if we go to my collection of skins, we look at worlds, as a range, we just click all and show unowned. This one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them I do not own, and the rest of them I've got. Basically, we're after this one. This is the one everyone basically wants, and for good reason. Now, I'm not sure how guaranteed it is, but I'll be brutally honest with you guys. Whenever I've gotten a world skin in here, I have actually upgraded it. It's been my prior to upgrade it, so that now we essentially have this opportunity to get something good, and I'm praying we do. I've delayed this enough. This is honestly the worst one I could have got. I'm not gonna lie. The LeBlanc skin is kind of bad for me, all things considered. Spell her name. Look by champion, that's the easiest way. Now, the reason I say this is the worst is I already have that. I've got a myriad of other skins. If we look at the unknown for LeBlanc, wherever she is, I've lost her. It's by mastery, so she should be quite high up here. I don't think that. Okay, it doesn't filter correctly, which is dumb. Wherever LeBlanc is, she should be quite I have a high mastery anyway. Kaiser, Zoe, Teemo, Dr. Mundo, Nah, Singed, Vega, Yi, Horn, Fiora, Braum, Caitlyn, Set, Sion, Cho, Jinx, Lux, Karthus, Bard, Okay, I thought I had a quite high, but then I remember I have a lot of champions at Mastery 5. So maybe she isn't that high. Oh well. We should be getting to my Mastery 4s soon. She is probably at the top of that thing. Here we go. So, I'm only missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skins for her. And I mean, they're not the best. So yeah, this isn't... I'm not overly happy with it, but still free skin that we've gained. I'll take it, I guess. But yeah, thanks for joining me. This will probably be shown before the live stream on Friday. See you guys when that's live, I guess. So hello everyone, how's it going? I'm back once again for a stream live on my channel. It's weird. Yesterday I was dead to the world, felt sick as all can be, and today we're back. I'm probably not keeping the webcam on. I'm not in a good enough state for that. But yeah, we will be going into today with a nice big old series between BDS and PSG. Gonna be breaking down the full 5 for that. And you know, it's me. I'm a little sad that I got LeBlanc out of the capsule, but hey, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm a little tired today. Cycled home. Usually takes about 40 minutes, but I went shopping at a local supermarket. Picked up some things that I haven't seen in shops for a long time, but little sleepy Charmander. A nice little thing for my room, as well as some more Pokemon stuff. Little Piplup Squishmallow, and you know, when you see the Piplup, chances are the Pikachu is close to follow, little guy. So yeah, I stocked up on the Squishmallows. I'm technically missing Gengar, but I haven't seen that one since a good few months ago. Anyway, I just missed the last spawns on Pokemon Go for Pumpkaboo. It's the community hour. But yeah, excuse me. I'm going to try and keep that coughing down to a minimum. He says, hoping anyway, that I'm not going to be coughing as much as I once was. But yes, I'm going to switch over to the special cam, namely the one that has the game. Ta-da! There you go. So you lose my face for PSG versus BDS. I think that's a worthwhile trade. So into draft for game number 1 we go. I'm now turning my head to view the screen. In fact, I'm going to turn the screen towards me, because that would help. There we go. The great thing about not having my webcam on is I can have these wacky monitor setups, because they're both on the same arm set. But as the draft comes through, first 2 bands on either side, Diori, Ivan, Jarvan Rumble removed, Zion removed, then Kaiser's up and available, Oriana removed, so Talia's up and available with that Nico. I think that puts preface on that for PSG, and I think Maple, quite honestly, will preface that champion as a whole. It's first pick worthy, or the Kaiser is first pick worthy for PSG. But Maokai makes it through ban phase 1, so it gets locked in. Pick 1 for PSG. A lot of zone control with this champion, and it's kind of, honestly, a good pickup for the PSG squad. Now, I should probably let you guys in on a thing. We're only covering 3 games tonight. I'm feeling up to 3, and hopefully they'll be interesting ones to say the least. Because I've seen the last 2 games of this series, or part of the 4th game. I saw the full 5th game over the weekend, as I was busy for the other 2, doing the Pokemon Community Day, but yeah. Different story, different time. Draft has already got into the 2nd rotation of picks as Sedge and Rakan comes through. Will we see something interesting from PSG? I think you'll probably see mid lane and or support here. Instead, it's actually going to be the Kennen. That's kind of surprising with the Maokai in the jungle. But if that Jace comes through, that makes a bit more sense. So you've got a strong burst top, pokey harassment mid, with zone control from the jungle. There's a lot of strengths in this PSG squad already. Whereas BDS, they kind of just want to dive into them. But with what PSG have gotten so far, they've kind of made it hard for BDS to execute this draft in the first 3 picks of the game. And personally, people will not, think that these are strong picks. However, like anything, they're very, very good. Now, 2nd rotation of bans, gotta feel, gonna target out the bot lane of PSG quite hard here. You've got to probably pinch the ADC pool a little bit. The Rel ban comes through. If Nautilus doesn't get banned here, then BDS are gonna probably ban out an ADC. And good ADCs right now, quite limiting, as Kalista removed. In fact, PSG are the ones suffocating the ADC pool. It's kind of surprising that that is happening. But yeah, Rel gets removed. Honestly, if PSG want to be a bit sneaky, they can rotate the Maokai into support and go for a jungle and essentially make BDS waste these 2 bans, because honestly, Maokai support right now is looking fairly good, because there isn't really any frontline engagey supports left. I mean, Leona's there. You've got technically Alistar, who probably would see more play over Leona here. In fact, I think Alistar would probably still be quite good with the comp that PSG have. Renekton, the last ban to come through from them. And BDS probably will lock in their ADC here. Or, what is it they've got left? No, they'll probably lock top for Adam. He's already secured a counter matchup if he needs it. And there's the S in God. It's Sion coming through for him. Not something you really see out of this guy. He isn't known for playing safe top lane picks. And Sion, the epitome of safe. And I think it's a... Actually, no, he is known for this, because he played it in the roam with the Sedge. Because he sacks level 1 and goes invading. This is the Adam actual special from the LEC. If I remember correctly, he was the guy who first did it this year. So yeah, this does make sense, because he did it against Evie. And Evie failed to punish. But here we go. He's going to be doing it against Ozzy in game number 1 of the series. The Alistar comes through, kind of expected, even though I said Leona in the first place. But then I remembered Alistar as a thing. Kaiser paired alongside it. This PSG draft is honestly very solid. BDS rounded out with a Zeri. It's not got a lot of good options there. I mean, looking at BDS's draft, it's very hard to execute, because you've got an Azir trying to get in or peel with his ulti. You've got Rakan trying to get in. You've got Sedge trying to get in. You've got Sion kind of trying to get in, just being a nuisance in the front line. But, like, Zeri kind of feels odd in this comp, because she's not necessarily going to be fully as aggressive or committed as the rest of her team. But hey, who knows? that was Team Wales' logo being flashed out, even though it's PSG. Weird. Anyway, we get into game number 1. We didn't really talk about how PSG's draft is set up, but let's be honest. Their draft looks very, very strong, to say the least. You've got Poke and Harass from the Kaiser Jace. You've got Strong Engage from the Maokai and Alistar. And then you've got the combo Breaker in the Kennen. It's very, very strong at just dismantling what BDS want to do. And could quite honestly just slow the game down long enough for it to just be impossible for the LEC squad to play. Now, we get into game number 1. I'm going to be interested to see how these two teams set up. The fan of 5 across the board for PSG. Whereas BDS, typical of them looking for an early level 1 play. Trying to bait Junjai to go aggressive and get caught out. Maple flashing the TSM emote, as you do. And checking these sums. In the brief instance we got them up, let's have a quick flashback to see what there is. Conk topside for Kennen. That's Comet Scion. Kind of interesting to go Comet. You're not getting the same sort of resistances as an Aftershock Scion or Grasp. So Comet's more for the lane to kind of harass and deal with the Kennen early. Does surprise me a little, because you want the extra resistances. I think that would be more beneficial than the Comet path. But, hey. He may go for a boss sort of build and build full lethality in a pro game. Yeah, I don't think that would be the case. Rest of the summoners look stock standard. Yeah, I'm just checking the Nocturne. Alistar. How did I get them from Alistar? You're checking the Alistars. Yeah, they look fairly normal. Same for Rakan. Yeah, everything else looks normal. It's just the Scion that's a little bit more, I can't say disturbing. But yeah. Junjai baiting the jungle. Not gonna go for the aggressive path. Get an early ward. Plays it safe. Doesn't get punished. Simple as. BDS probably expecting a cheeky ward to come out, but isn't gonna happen. I say that. Maple goes for the ward, and the XP goes over. Now, the interesting thing is, Scion is not going for the early steal away the enemy jungle strat. He just helps the leash for Shao's own camps. Bit weird, to say the least. So, I'm intrigued to see how Adon plays with this Scion. It's not necessarily the strongest of picks right now. It's kind of fallen out of meta. However, it is still technically a safe pick because it's a tank. You are obviously expected to lose the lane matchup fairly easy, which makes the Comet pickup more interesting, to say the least. But hey, maybe he has insane amounts of damage by the end of the game. So, we didn't really look at items yet, but cool start for the Kennen. Knows it's kind of a farming matchup. You outscale the Scion and you obviously outlane him based on just a pure champ matchup. Bot side, Zeri into Kaiser. It's a cool start for the Zeri. She's expecting it to be a farm lane, probably because Shao is looking to invest into Nuke. already getting the flash out of Maple. This is a huge early start for BDS, as you're able to keep Maple a little bit more subdued now, and on the edge, being threatened by the potential dive. And with no safety summoner, you kind of have to feel that Nuke may go aggressive. He's got the sustain. Both actual mid laners have the biscuit for sustain. So, as a whole, I think what we're going to end up seeing is a fairly standard, even matchup, but the possibilities of a repeat gank towards the mid lane is still present for BDS. Now, Lebrov gonna buy some vision for his team. It's Junjai waiting for the Raptors reset from the BDS Rift side. He obviously saw the start of Shao as the mid gank gonna come through, the knock up into the air as Zed dives forward and first blood goes over to BDS. The threat of the repeat gank, we said it loomed, and BDS punish Maple early and they get the kill. It's unfortunate it went over to Lebrov, but again, it's still beneficial as gold went over to BDS regardless. Interesting to note, Junjai is playing quite aggressive here in the jungle of Shao. He is, however, allowing the Sejuani to catch up in farm, and kind of maybe a misplay. Though he did shadow his top lane, he's still hovering here, possibly looking for a pick onto Adam if he oversteps, but TP's back so he can at least contest it with some better items. And now Ozzy kind of gets a good reset for himself, because he controls the CS, he controls the lane. It's just very well played from PSG's top half to force this wave state. Now Shao, he's playing a lot around Nuke this game, hovering around Woody and Junjai. They'll force him back. And already we're starting to see how much of a nuisance these Maokai saplings are. Constantly being pressed, put down in the river to deny the vision and area of the rift. And you take so much damage. Like, the little ticks amount up to so much in the long run. And already Lebrov having to deal with them as he steps forward to clear out vision. And BDS doing the BDS classic, forcing Drake early. This is something that we've seen throughout the tournament, and pretty much throughout the entirety of the LEC. Is it Adam taking presumably a safe path that he can obviously, if needs be, he can drift his way down to this river to help protect this Drake that Shao has eventually secured. But he's doing his classic roam. The surprising thing is he didn't rush top, because it has allowed Ozzy to continue to mount a big lead over him, as bot side was seeing an aggressive play. Dashing across though is Lebrov to safety, but the Maokai, he's hunting. Junjai sees him, pulled over into a grand entrance, and the Maokai forced to retreat back into the river. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm surprised Adam didn't ult top, just to get back to lane quicker. Just would have made a bit more sense to get maybe some returning CS, deny a few minions from this cannon, who, let's be honest, is happy just farming. Cull makes this lane so much harder for Adam. Because he's always bleeding gold. He's just going to be bleeding a lot more with this item. And so, you kind of have to think of it as a poor investment from him, to say least, because Ozzy is going to get to a state where he's unmatchable in sides and is an absolute menace in teamfights. The fact that he'll have the slicing maelstrom that just will delete health bars, and dare I say it, he'll probably have enough side lane pressure with the build he's going anyway. Because it looks like he'll rush Protobelt into probably Sonya's. So you can play quite safe on site or aggressive on site and have some safety. Because I forget that aggression does not always equal safety. Is the point I'm trying to get at? I'm surprised Obrov didn't mark that ward that got dropped over the wall there. He may not have seen it, though I would have thought he would have. But yeah. He misses out on gold. Is BDS stealing away camps? Good to see from Shao. Getting the enemy raptors is nice, especially when Jinjai on full reset, going to clear out his full bottom jungle, and down a camp is beneficial to the BDS jungle. Granted, it is in a matchup that doesn't really matter too heavily, as junglers don't tend to be the main carries of the game. Now, what I will say is, we haven't really touched on it, but bot lane, and also now top, the Cull fully stacked up for both Crowny and for Arzi. So nice injection of gold off that item. Of note, what I will say is, it has resulted in the Storm Razor picked up for Crowny. Kraken Slayer on the other side, though, for his opponent. While they're not the biggest of difference for the carries just yet. In fact, it's kind of surprising how Stormrazors works with Zeri. Feels kind of weird, you know. But anyway, a fight possibly going to break out here as Woody, chunked out, hit by the Sedge ult, forced to ult by himself as well. And BDS collapsed in. They want to secure vision around this Drake as Zeri stepping forward. Wacko taking a decent chunk of damage. In the end, both teams kind of back away, but BDS get to control the river and get to set up quite nicely for this Drake as Jinjai hovering around bot. Possibilities of a play down there. As BDS get to start to push into this tower, it's actually surprising how low this bot lane tier 1 has fallen. As it's been basically an isolated matchup, even though one kill has gone over due to an early play. It has felt, though, like there wasn't really much invested. In fact, the play was on mid lane. It's just Rakan that's got a kill as TP's gonna come in. Nuke joining up with the rest of the team. It's a 4v4 if a fight is to break out. Adam and Arzi joining the fight. The TP's come through. Woody is on the flank and gets a nice headbutt pulverized to Drake. It's going to be stolen. And that slicing maelstrom gets onto the backline of BDS. They are, however, somehow still alive. The only member to fall is going to be Shao. And PSG, they get the Drake and they get the kill. That is going to be a one team fight for them. We watch it again. Shao focusing the Drake. He knows he needs to get this objective, but once the Nature's Grass comes through, it becomes a 50-50 smite fight. That Junjai wins. Then you look at the fight. It looks doom and gloom for BDS. They're forced to retreat as that slicing Maelstrom did so much work. But the disengage came through. It was well done. And they get away without losing too many casualties. The gold lead suddenly sits in the hands of PSG after that fight. And it has resulted in some big pickups. Dustblade picked for the Jace. Protobelt for the Kennen, who's looking for a kill onto Crowny. Forces a flash out. But will not chase any further as the support's roaming up here. Labrov not gonna go diving headfirst onto RZ. He knows full well that Kennen will probably kill him, especially with a 1.3k gold lead on him. Honestly, that is quite huge, to say the least. Don't get me wrong, he's against Sion, so it's expected for this to happen. But, like, you don't really expect a CSD to be this huge, literally 15 minutes into the game. Now, what I will say is Sion's found some alone time on this tower. Isn't running the demolish keystone because he's got Comet. And this is kind of an issue because, you know, it's one of them key sorts of runes you see on Sions who go for the resolution tree. And that's kind of an issue that needs to be addressed because BDS won't get the same sort of pressure on the map. Because they're going to be quite far behind on tempo. Now, what I will say is Nuke came down, got himself turret gold alongside Adam. So, gold kind of stayed even in that top lane matchup, but Nuke, who's somehow fallen behind in CS, considering he got an early kill and got lane control, he's somehow behind in CS now. He is able to, however, say he got turret gold, which is beneficial to him, because it keeps that matchup a little bit more even. Granted, the game still, and I do mean still, sits in a very, very one-sided state. As PSG sit 2k up, the only real threat that BDS have is Crowny, whom, let's be honest, if he's dealt with well, the game is over. If he dies once, the game is pretty much over. And probably if PSG kill him, it ends in Baron, and that's the push. There's not much that needs to be said. That. It basically comes down to whether or not Crowny can pop off and carry his team through a team fight. Which, spoiler alert, with what PSG have drafted, it feels nigh on impossible for Crowny to get a pop-off team fight. The fact is, Wacko is starting to come online with his Kaiser. He's getting gold invested into him with the second Herald invested mid. He's probably going to get first turret blood here, as that's going to be the Herald crashing into the tier 1. Down it goes. Herald probably will get a second crash, even though it shouldn't. But because PSG played the aggressive rooting, played on the front foot, it meant that BDS had to cede pressure as he going to show top. Not going to use the Slicing Maelstrom just yet. If he did, he probably would have been caught out by Sheo on the re-engage. But PSG, firm control of mid. allows them to rotate down to the Drake, secure themselves the second one of the game. However, they are giving up top side tier 1 for this. And, while not the most beneficial of things for BDS, it certainly gets them some semblance of fight back in. It's not the largest of gold, returns they get. Especially considering it's going into an Azir. But still, gold's gold. And Nuke is somehow BDS's fighting point to get back in. Sure, Crowny is ahead. And he is staying ahead of his matchup. But Nuke, already sitting on an item and a half, almost got himself that Void Staff that will allow him to do a lot more damage against the Maokai, who hasn't built the more AP burst orientated build. He has built more tanky. And so you're going to be able to deal with that. You're also going to be dealing with the Alistar a little bit better. So as a whole, BDS kind of are in a situation where they could be falling quicker than we thought as mid. Decent chunk done to Junjai. Not life-threatening, but he was certainly looking for a fight onto Labrov. Doesn't result in much more than a bit of a tickle onto the jungle of PSG. Now, as we sit 20 minutes into the game, Baron up on the table for either team if they want to go for it. I think BDS probably will look for a sort of Baron flip. I think that's their avenue in. Is a Baron sneak / flip. Granted, you don't really want to flip it against this sort of comp because they just will kill you. So, ideally, if you're BDS here, you're going to want to sneak it, but the vision control PSG have secured for themselves makes that nigh on impossible. You're probably going to go head first into your own death. So, what can they do? The game, while it is close in gold, it feels very dominant from PSG. Because there's been no real avenue for BDS to get anything. They're now starting to feel the harassment and the poke PSG can put out, especially with the Manamune fully stacked up by Maple in his inventory. And now PSG might be the ones to rush a Baron. Would not surprise me if they go for that, to be honest, in the next 5 minutes. The game certainly feels out of BDS's hands right now, so they may just have to seed game 1, start thinking of game 2. And it's unfortunate that I'm thinking like this, considering it's a killer piece. The gold is within touching distance. It's just knowing that there's literally a Kennen and a Jace ready to delete a health bar instantly is kind of the reason why BDS will struggle to play the state of the game. And a funny thing is, if Rakan goes looking for a pick, trying to get onto someone in a fight, there's an Alistar there to knock him back, and then put him in the wombo combo of the Kennen and the Maokai diving headfirst into you. Genuinely, I think BDS will struggle to do much here. Now, the funny bit is, Adam, at this stage of the game, isn't at a, hey, I'm a Scion, you can't kill me sort of stage, where you can just stand in front and body block. Like, he's decently health and can body block, but it's not the most ideal thing here, as PSG setting up the flank. Ozzy ready to wrap round this wall, ready to go in with the slicing maelstrom once again. He gets onto 3 as the Drake was secured by PSG. The engage comes through. It is clean from the PSG squad, as now they're falling back. They're actually taken quite low. Somehow BDS are winning out on the fight, but they themselves back away. They don't want to overstep. And in the end, the only thing that falls is the Drake to PSG. And they will be happy with that. Soul point secured. What can you say other than that? This game, the fact that Junjai twice has just walked into the pit and smite stolen it. Like, this should have been so much more than this, than what we saw. Like, it's a 50-50 once again for the Drake. The slicing maelstrom's clean. Adam gets a flash over the wall, which keeps him alive. Somehow Lebrov's able to quickness through them and not get bursted out. Woody flashes to safety. Overall, that fight, you would say, is dead even. But what I will say is, PSG sitting on Ocean Soul, already with 2 of these Drakes, they've got the extra health, like, regen from this buff. They're going to be able to sustain a lot better through teamfights now. As Ozzy, he could have caught out Crowny, isn't going to push the tempo. And look at the death squad set up by PSG there. Crowny smartly backed up. That ward picked them off on the side. They knew that PSG were looking for him. So as a whole, BDS don't overstep, as Adam just stealing away Crux, as you do. Usually expect that level 1, but doing it now. BDS getting some semblance of CS, trying to keep the game even, or relatively close to even. Void Staff picked up. That's going to be the, whatever it's called. The thing that gives you a shield and lifesteal for the Zeri. BDS hovering around a pit. Will we see them try and sneak it? Cleared out the vision of the objective. No wards available for PSG. It isn't a terrible spot to try and go for the sneak, but PSG walking forward. Blue trinket going to be used. Spots out BDS, and PSG just back away. They don't need to go aggressive. They don't need to kind of overstep. Excuse me. Now, BDS, what can you do? What will you do? You're bleeding out even more. Gold lead sits at 3k for PSG. The waves are being pushed out. They've got full control back on the Baron. They cleared out all the vision as Alsar flashes forward. He's caught out Sheo. The jungler BDS is stunned up, locked up, rooted down, and bursted out by Wacko. Slicing Maelstrom comes through, gets onto the Rakan. Lebrov taken very low, but the exhaust keeps Ozzy at bay. TP gonna come through from Adam, looking to re-engage the fight, but it is a 4v5 that PSG do not want to take. They get the kill and dip. They're not even gonna have to deal with BDS for a while. And they reset, get ready for this Ocean Drake. They know they get this, they get Soul. And BDS, their chances in this game will go up in smokes if this PCS squad gets the objective, you have to feel that this game will come down to Azir and the Kaiser and Cannon combo from PSG. They need to get the kill onto at least one of them if you're BDS. Whereas PSG, you kill the Azir, you kill the hopes of the LEC in this game. As the engage comes through from the Maokai, gets caught out on the backside. The killer instinct comes through. Flash from Wacko secures a kill onto Nuke. The roots come through from the Nature's Grasp, and that is a double kill. Kennen gets kill onto Adam, and the kills for PSG come through. The Void Seeker will not land onto Sheo, so there is a chance. But the chances are cut short as PSG ace out BDS, and they're certainly on the victory march now with Soul secured. Big fight, and what an amazing killer instinct out from Wacko. That defined this fight. We prefaced it with, you need to get Nuke if you're PSG to win out this fight. And you need to get the Kaiser if you're BDS if you want to win. But what if the 1v1 comes through? Well, simply put, Kaiser wins. And Kaiser wins cleanly. A big team fight from Wacko. Secures 3. And gets basically the game for PSG wrapped up in a neat bundle. Baron on top of it to boot. Now with Soul, the poke can come through. You can play a little bit more aggressive if you're PSG, because you can health regen up quite easily. The sustain that you gain from this buff is very nice. Now the push becomes a lot more simple. As for BDS, once again sending Nuke to the side lanes, trying to secure some scraps of gold. The tier 2 on the top side would have been the play. However, the push from PSG is aggressive. They're already onto the inhibitor towers, and Nuke's forced to respond. Mid lane, Sedge tried to cut the wave, but Ozzy was not having it. He is back pushing in there. They're trying to actually crash the waves at the same time, which is really well done here by PSG. And I just only realized that's Hex Flash Sedge, but the engage does not matter about Hex Flash as the kill somehow goes over to Crowny. Junjai got a little too aggressive there. And what do you know? That poke onto Labrov. Already taken below half his HP. The shield going to be enough to keep him above that amount. More poke lands as the Dom goes aggressive. They've looked to burst out Woody, but he is not the right target as the stopwatch avoids Nuke's ultimate, who's taken very low, forced back to base. BDS taken low, and you have to feel their base will be taken because of the low health bars. Inhibitor in the mid lane will fall as bot lane looking like the next one. The inhib tower being focused down by Arzi and Maple. Inhibitor next to be hit up. Nuke tagged by one Void Seeker. Cranny tagged by the Shock Blast. And already BDS backing up, knowing that this pressure that PSG can put down is very hard to fight against. Very hard to deal with. BDS, they somehow stay alive, seeing the Baron out through its full usage. Only a 1.9k gold lead gained from this by PSG. Granted, they're already sitting at about 4 or 5k. It's now a nice big 9k one. And Maple, he looks to have caught out Nuke. The Shock Blast lands, the Empress Divide dodged, and the hammer gets brought down on the Azir. A solo bolo to Maple's Jace. And he is here looking to take the PCS to the Swiss stage. As the push comes through, PSG are looking for the base of BDS. What can Crowny do? He needs to keep
his team in this game. He needs to protect his base at all costs. Kaiser and Jace already throwing a lot of damage down onto the backline as another Void Seeker lands onto Adam. As Ozzy topside, he's looking for the third inhib. Why not if you're PSG? Make this game clean, make it secure, get the third inhib, get double super minions in all the waves. Make it so it's so hard for BDS to get out their base. You can get Elder in a minute 30. You can get Baron in a minute 40 without any sort of contest. That's if the game gets that long, as the waves continuing to push forward onto the Nexus towers. Finally, they're heading as Adam taken low, bursted, and killed off by Maple. Killer Instinct gonna come through, trying to get onto Crowny as Wacko. Adam's Scion passive gonna time out the Nexus towers falling as that shock blast deletes the health bars, and then the slicing maelstrom finishes them off. PSG take down 3 to get the Nexus and game number 1. Simple as that. PSG had firm control of this game from draft. It looked very difficult for BDS to play this game based on the drafts. The amount of poke and harass that PSG could put as the game got later, the fact that they were able to also get a fairly even game. There wasn't even a snowball formed by BDS. There wasn't really any fights other than the one pick they got at the start of the game. And PSG just said, thanks for that, we'll just play our game and do well. Now, we are, as I say, focusing on 3 games. Game 1, the complete domination from PSG. And next we go to Game 3, the halfway point of the series, where BDS are sitting against match point. PSG need to win this to go to the knockouts. Go to Swiss, I should say. And BDS, they come into this, guns are blazing, no cares in the world, looking to kind of defy the odds. Kind of looking to give Europe some hope. Because bear in mind, the past few worlds that Europe's been in, play-ins, they've kind of faltered. They've never gotten a 4th seed into the next stage, the main event, the Swiss stage as it's now called. So, against the wall, they change to blue, and they bring out some interesting picks and bans. Starting off with the Rumble, removing a strong top AP pick, kind of like the Kennen that we saw in Game 1. Speaking of the Kennen, it gets removed. Basically, we're not allowing RZ to have a carry. That's the simple preface of this draft from BDS. RZ cannot have a carry. So if we're doing this route, Renekton, Aatrox, ban him. Remove them picks. Nico, remove that from Maple. He's very good at that pick, so yeah, that makes sense. On the other side, PSG removing Desire, no safety. Removing Yori, no sort of strong mid. Remove the Callista, now Crowny's forced down the pecking order. BDS, I don't think Darius will be insta-locked, but I think they'll probably preface ADC here. And with how well Kaiser has done, I'm kind of expecting that to be picked up here in the first rotation. BDS aren't the ones to do it. Instead, they go for the Maokai. They want the zone control. They want to be able to play around the rift, control areas of the map. It's sort of their style, and it's sort of one of the most beneficial things. Now, it isn't an Ivan. It isn't a Sejuani that Show plays a lot. In fact, Maokai probably is his 3rd or 4th most played, behind them 2 champs. So, as a whole, it is one of his fairly strong picks, though I wouldn't consider him a Maokai main by any say of the word. Now, PSG kind of reveal a bit more of their draft. Jarvan and Rel, a nice wombo combo there of champs. I'd be scared if a Talia gets locked in here for PSG. Such a scary combination of bad win rate champs. Talia not winning many games here at Worlds. And if it gets locked in, it sort of spells doom for PSG in Game 3. Finally, BDS get the Kaiser. It's a strong pick overall. The amount of burst it offers in the late game, and the ability to just assassinate the backline due to one root, one stun coming out from Maokai. It is huge. And I think this is why these two get comboed so goddamn often. It's so hard to deal with. And BDS's draft looking a lot like Game 1 PSG, not gonna lie, with the Alistar coming through. They've got lockup that allows the Kaiser to play the game. They've got a lot of kind of disengaging from the Rel, from the Jarvan. It's a very solid draft from BDS. Learning how to draft on the fly here. As PSG's draft kind of in a weird situation where they're forced to go Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn, bit of an oddball pick. Not seen much play at Worlds. In fact, I don't think it's seen any play coming into this series. But like, as a whole, you think of how it would want to play. It needs the ability to set up and stand still. It's not one of these mobile, agile ADCs, the likes of a Zeri or even a Kaiser. It certainly needs people to be locked up in place to get the full utility of the headshots, of your traps. It's an awkward pick for what could be described as a very mobile meta. Now, Ban Phase 2 comes through. Cassia removed from Nuke, one of his most played. Jace removed. We're seeing some mid lane picks and bans removed. BDS continuing to target out Arzi. Don't allow the guy to get a carry. Simple message given by BDS. And the funny thing is, these top lane bans that come through look like picks that will never be played by Adam, as Silas is the lock-in. Interested to see where that goes. Can go into Maple's hands. Can technically even go to Arzi. And it makes the top lane matchup a little bit harder for Adam to blind pick into as a whole. It does throw a wrench in the works. Honestly, if Cassante was locked in, that could have been a huge wrench for PSG. But there's some options here. You've got Cassante, you've got Renekton. You've even got Talia if you want to go down an AP control mage mid lane. If they want to do that. But Adam locks in the O of Gods. He's gone Olaf. Maybe for the meme. Who knows? But I like it as a whole, because it allows you to ignore the Rel completely. You ignore the Silas's chains. That's a huge wombo of the combo from PSG negated by that pick. As for the last pickup, the Azir, Emperor's Divide, get onto the immobile Caitlyn and delete her. That's the goal. And what do you know, the last pickup for the game is Nah. Continuing to build up the wombo combo. And in fact, we haven't really discussed the options for the Sylas, but you look at the hijackable abilities. If the Azir gets taken, you've got Azir into Gnar to kind of wombo them together into the air. You've then got Jarvan and Rel. That's a lot of pushing and moving of the BDS squad, which I don't think benefits Caitlyn too much. And personally, I think that PSG's draft is a little over the top for what they want to do. Because they want to allow Caitlyn to get headshots, get her to do these massive crit damaging autos. But when she's not going to get a target into a trap because all the champions have been put in a bouncy castle and they're literally bouncy balls that are thrown around the literal bounce house, they're never gonna land in a trap unless by a miracle one of them happens as Vitality getting the nice emote. Somehow they've got an emote here at Worlds. And it's been brought to you by Shao. And we get to game technically 3. PSG 1 game away as Olaf forced the flash early. The 4-man collapse comes through from PSG. Trying to get an early play as bot side. It's technically an isolated wacko. The backs, however, have come through from PSG and no one's going to punish her. Taking a look at the summoners. Nothing out the ordinary this time. Yeah, very stock standard to say the least. Yeah, not much to say. Probably going to be a little bit more of a AP orientated Maokai, Radiant Virtue into Demonic Embrace probably from Shao in this game. I think would be his build path, especially with Phase Rush. But the rest of the builds, probably the stock standard things you see. Silas may go Protobelt. That sees a bit more play than the likes of Everfrost. Crown's not the best here into an Maokai. Yeah, I think PSG will probably see Silas go for maybe the burst orientated build more so than anything. Maybe he goes a bit tankier with a weirder build to say the least. But Maple's probably gonna go for the burst heavy AP mage, as he is the only source of AP for PSG, and with the amount of sustain the Kingslayer brings, I think that will be the most ideal as mid. Nuke forced to run early. That's going to be dash forward from the Silas to dodge out on the shackles. Nuke gets to walk back to safety, flag and drag. Possibility from Junjai, but he doesn't want to overstep into Shao and Nuke. Now BDS getting to an early start. Mid lane already sitting very nicely for Nuke. And that's kind of why Junjai showed his face there, because Maple getting frozen off the wave is not the most beneficial of things to see. Obviously, the wave state has evened out once again, but you have to kind of expect range versus melee, the range champion to start to build up a lead. Now, bot side, just looking at items, fairly even in terms of the builds. No cool. Not surprised by that, to be honest. I would have thought Caitlyn may have gone it, because she kind of just wants to sit here and farm and then hit onto the tower. Not really pressure for kills too heavily early. But BDS, they're setting up nicely. Junjai getting good invade here for PSG. He appeared to have done this in game 1 as well. Trying to get the second rotation of the Raptor camp for himself. But because Shao went for the early gank in game 1 and got essentially the flash out Maple, Junjai wasn't able to steal them. So that was a big thing Shao did that denied that steal in game 1. But game 3 isn't able to do the same thing, even though he was technically looking for it. And I think Maple, well aware of the timings of Sheo's clear and the fact that he was punished in that fashion in game 1. So it's just PSG adapting quite well. And I think BDS need to sort of do the same thing of adapting. Already down 0-2 in this series, and they kind of need to go for a play. As topside, Meganar comes through. Olaf taken quite low, forced the ghost, and Maokai is here, showing on the top side. Ozzy getting chunked as Olaf dodging out on the spells. It's first blood over to Na, but the second kill goes over to Sheo. Now the Maokai on the wrong side of the rift, tanking up tower shot, and gets killed by Junjai. 2 for 1 in favor of PSG is the inevitable trade that BDS are unhappy about. Certainly, for sure. You think how the game started early in game 1, them getting the picks. Here in game 3, it doesn't turn out in their favor. And that's a huge thing to be concerned about here. As topside, the Na into Olaf matchup. Honestly, the Na is going to be happy about getting kill. He's stacking up a cool he just bought up on that back, and Junjai already pathing back up top. He wants to allow Ozzy to get Olaf pushed and not allow him to have the same sort of pressure as Woody. Force the flash. Bobrov getting aggressive early into the bot lane. Kind of a big deal here. It's topside. Adon being frozen off his wave a little bit. Needs to sort of throw out these axes once he gets them. But he isn't able to pick them up again, because if he steps forward, Ozzy will just throw his boomerangs at him and just deal chunks of damage. So Adam's in a bit of a situation here where it's a lot harder for him to CS without being punished. And there you see it. He's trying to CS, but Ozzy just continues to throw boomerangs at him. And the big thing about Ignar is when he goes for this sort of stack up, he's able to get so much in terms of return. As Labrov caught out, going to be killed off by Wacko. And that ward bait was massive from PSG as they get themselves the kill onto their ADC. Already going to result in a lot as mid. Nuke just caught out and deleted under Maple's tower. Why he was there, I do not know. But PSG happily sitting with 4 kills over BDS. And this game honestly feels like BDS's world swan song. Losing this game means they're out, and this kill, the CC chain of death, just clean from PSG. This new, he's got pushing mid, he's just tanks tower for some reason. Emperor's Divide gets avoided, and then when the chains come through, he's dead. He sees the outplay and sees that that was a misplay and a half from Nuke. He didn't need to go that aggressive. He's already winning in CS. He didn't need to do anything other than let the enemy minions die. Your minions die to the tower. The BDS trying to look for a play, as that's the ace and hole used. Labrov tanks it up so Crowny stays healthy. Bot side, not much happening here other than the push for the Caitlyn. That thing we were talking about, Caitlyn getting push, is the most dirtiest thing in League of Legends. Because when she hits these towers, them shots just deal so much damage. She's one of the gruesome trio of turret killers in League that you cannot allow free time on a tower. It's her, it's Trist, and it's Ziggs. As mid lane, the chains are going to go wide, but the rel crash down doesn't. As they're taken low, but not bursted out. As in the jungle, Junjai, as that was happening, just takes away the Herald. BDS, again, not getting first objectives. They're known for being an objective hog team, getting the Drake stacked up for themselves, but in this series, they've felt helpless. It's felt like they've not been able to get them. It's felt like they've been punished. As Maple going to be knocked over the wall there by Labrov, as 2 minutes 30 until this Chemtech Drake. It's not going to happen too soon just yet, as already Crownie got his first item. Umbral Glaive picked up. Going for the full lethality build, it seems. So Dust Blade going to be his second item, as Maple goes over the wall. The chains land, and that's going to be a lot of damage put back down onto Nuke, who TP back to lane. He is taken incredibly low. As on the bottom side, a little bit of a skirmish comes out between the two teams. Not going to result in much other than some control over this brush that PSG will not end up getting. In the end, it's just going to be a worthwhile trade for them, as they're able to continue to push out in the bot lane. But as things stand, the game sits with PSG 2k up over BDS. And that, my friends, people in chat, is a big lead, especially with Caitlyn just throwing out the ace in the hole on cooldown as Killer Instinct is used. Woody is caught, knocked up into the air with the headbutt pulverized. The Maokai sapling is enough to secure the kill, and BDS come fighting back into game number 3. Big pick. Overconfidence may be out from PSG as the flag and drag comes through. Sheo knocked up, but Jarvan forced back, and Wacko gets caught. Big shutdown over to BDS as the Gnar ultimate lands onto Crownie, but he is still alive. BDS are all alive, and 4 members are down here ready for a fight. Maple steals away the Azir ultimate, looking for his Emperor's Divide of his own. Will not come through, but the dive possibly will, as Maple continuing to chase forward. The shackles, the chains will not land onto anyone. And in the end, all that happens is a Herald is dropped, and a mass amount of turret plates are secure for PSG. Of note, TP invested by Arzi to get down to this bot side, to get first tower. In the response, Adam stayed top. Obviously, no TP on this Olaf, and he's able to get a decent chunk of damage down to this top lane tier 1. Not the same sort of matching of gold by BDS, but it's still something. It's still a play on the other side of the rift. And Adam, who's had a rough start to this game, sort of writing a little bit, as here, it's just a great pick onto Woody, who gets caught out, overstepping into BDS's side of the rift. Then it's just Smite to secure the kill. Sheo, it looks to have been caught out in his own jungle, but when Wacko gets tagged by the Void Seeker, he's spotted out and just rooted up by BDS. 3-man invest to get a kill as Crownie. What is he doing there? Clearly looks like he got swept under the tower. Big pick for Maple. Simple as that. Crownie not going to have the same sort of impact onto the rift, as Drake was secured by PSG while that was all happening, while we were in replay. And that lane economy, kind of huge to say the least. Nah, sitting ahead by a chunk, and it feels like it's been this way throughout the series. Arzi has had Adam's number, and he's not been allowed to play this game as Nah doing Nah things, in game number 3. 1-1-1. Sitting just ahead in CS. Adam's actually done very well to keep sort of even in that regard, considering the sort of matchup he was in. But yeah, as game state stands, PSG firm control. They haven't pushed it too far since we last saw it. Honestly, 2K, as that Empress Divide flash combo from Maple. Crisp, clean, and decisive to punish Kaiser where she stands. Now 20 seconds off this Herald. BDS looking for their first objective of game number 3. If they get this, possibly could look to open up some of the map. But PSG first into the river as the objective is spawning. It means it's going to be very hard for BDS to fight into the river. Hex flash forward from Sheo. Trying to get some pressure. The sapling. Going to control this river brush. It's going to be disengaged or deleted due to the Herald being pulled out by PSG. Smart move by them. And the objective started up. Ozzy sitting at half his Mega Narbar. He is certainly ready to fight. And so are BDS. Adam coming down from the top lane. Herald started up. PSG not pulling it, or certainly killing it as quick as you'd expect them to. And finally, all of BDS are in the area. Ozzy forced to Mega out. The Herald not even being focused. They're finally onto it. But the Megana below a half HP. The Hex Gate is going to be used. That is a flanking Labrov. The Nature's Grass comes through. Labrov kills off Woody. That's going to be a huge kill over to BDS as they kill off the jungler as well. Chasing forward is Nuke, hunting the Caitlyn to get the double kill. The chains will not land as Maple will not get a trade. BDS find 2, but in return PSG get the Herald. This certainly favors the LEC 4th seed, who needed the gold, and it's brought it back to within 500, as Olaf could be caught out, forced to Ragnarok. He's in a 2v1, but here comes the rest of BDS. The 4-man death squad is returning, but so is the Rel, who's caught out. Crowny sees the kill. The option is there to burst her out, but the flash is enough to put Woody in a safe enough area, and the game slows back down. This here is why you pick Maokai. The Nature's Grass roots Woody isolated away from the team, and Labrov just jumps on him, doesn't allow him to go for the crash down, and then no engage basically for PSG as the jungler dies as well. Then it's just cleanup for Nuke, who goes aggressive. Honestly, if Maple landed the chains there, that would have been a trade. But as I say, BDS playing this game decisive. They get themselves 3, technically 4 kills as Woody died again. And with it, they get themselves back into this game. Almost even once again. 600 gold is the difference, considering it was literally 2k several minutes ago. This is back to a good place for BDS. Finally, they get themselves their first objective, and it looks like they've got themselves a kill onto Junjai. Great buffer of the flag and drag combination to avoid the Emperor's Divide sweep. Good work there by Jarvan. Even though he has invested his flash, he's invested quite a bit there to get away. And there's no sort of threat to the backline of BDS now, because the Jarvan can't flash in and get the damage down. Now, while that was all happening, Ozzy secures himself the top lane tier 2. That's a decent gold investment as Nuke gets knocked down, gets caught out. The Magnet Storm isn't gonna land. Woody, you mistimed that, my friend. You weren't even in range. And Nuke gets himself back to safety. Labrov, though, he looks to be the noble sacrifice cow as he's getting taken lower and lower. He isn't actually gonna fall. Wow. BDS, don't get punished, baby. That's huge for them. Because it means that... Wow, also the goalie's gone back to 2k. Which... Oh, we were saying they'd gone in back to even. No, it's not. Because that top lane tier 2 fell. And I think a lot of pressure was put down bot side by Maple. To make it so that there was a lot more gold going into the back pockets of PSG. And so... As we sit 20 minutes into the game, Baron back on the table, 3 minutes until the Hextech Drake. Hextech Soul, by the way, that's actually a very powerful thing if BDS are able to get it for themselves. Because you think the Maokai using the saplings is just going to get nice bolts of lightning dashing out to targets. It's a juicy, Joshi sort of soul. Now, we're sitting at a point where Kaiser on 2 items as well. That Duskblade build, the lethality that she has. Does chunks with the Void Seekers, as well as the Cathian Reigns that she can use. It's going to do work against the backline of PSG. And I think if one Void Seeker lands during a teamfight onto Wacko, expect Crowley to go diving in and doing a lot of work and probably executing off the Caitlyn if Maple isn't able to peel for her. Because you have to feel the Emperor's Divide will be hijacked by Maple nearly every time he can get it. And I think, personally, he's going to be using it a bit more safe and defensively to protect his carry. Now, I've just noticed something interesting when we just pan down to Ozzy. He's gone Hullbreaker with his build. And that means that he's essentially looking to stay on side and deal with whomever on BDS's side of Rift is going to be pushing out. Probably going to be Adam on one side and Nuke on the other. Though, I'd expect him to try and deal with Adam. Because, spoiler alert, Adam has no TP, and he has no stuns. So, essentially, Ozzy can just stand in his face and TP. Sure, not the smartest ideas, as Adam probably would do a lot of damage to him. But, like, he is going to be able to just do that and deal with him. And just get to fight as PSG force them. Now, what I will say is, Adam's build's kind of weird. Going Jack Shao with Ravenous Hydra. It's an odd one, because obviously you get the Undertows giving you mass amounts of procs at the tier map. But you're also quite bulky, and deceptively bulky, to say the least, because you have Jack Shao. And I get... Actually, do I get why? I mean, as an Olaf, yeah, it makes sense because you want to be tanking a lot of damage. And when you have your ulti active, you lose some resistances. So having extra resistances that builds up the more damage you take makes sense, honestly. But hey, what do I know? I am a simple Seraphine one trick. So I don't know this sort of thing. As Drake going to be started, Nature's Grasp was actually hijacked by the Silas, and finally a 50-50 smite goes in favor of BDS. The Nara ultimate lands, and that's the crash down on top of it. As 3 members of BDS get caught out, locked up, and bursted down. But on the backside, the Caitlyn dies, and the BDS Kill Squad get two of the big damage dealers of PSG. Oh, they whooped you up them with the Hex Gate. Bye. PSG, go BDS. As Adam, just giving a nice escape route for Labrov. Allows him to use the Krugs as an escape with the headbutt. What a fight. It was close. And Adam, he looks to have caught out the Gnar. The Mega is ready and available. And in the end, it is Adam who gets caught out. Rooted on the tower and bursted out. As Ozzy solo kills his counter in the top side of the map. So we watched the the dragon fight again. Nature's Grasp, traded by both teams, allows for the smite to come through from Sheo. Then the Wombo. The Gnar ultimate onto 3 into the Magnet Storm. The Cataclysm did work, but on the backside, Nuke shuffled his way onto Wacko and deleted his health bar. Now, we're already seeing a re-engage from both these two teams. The Cataclysm gets onto Nuke, but it isn't enough to do enough damage as he gets away and gets a kill for his team. Then Gnar comes through and kills off Labrov as Sheo is caught out and probably next to fall. He flashes away to safety and Nuke is shutting him down. 2 shutdowns are being traded as the ace in the hole finds Sheo. PSG secure 3. In return, they lose their mid and their support, so they don't feel comfortable going for the Baron, which you kind of honestly would have thought they'd go for with the jungle down from BDS. Could be a misplay, but it does. The fight starts with Baron, and that is not what we end up seeing fall. Instead, it's the health bars, it's the kills going through to PSG. They pick off Labrov as they trade supports. Then it's a trade of mid laners. But this ace in the hole, Crowny unable to lock it, trying to recall in. It's just a well-timed ability from Wacko to secure the third and secure the winning fight for PSG. Now BDS back out onto the rift, back into the river, looking to control all the avenues into the pit. Umbral Glaive going to allow them to clear wards a hell of a lot quicker with the Kaiser. And now it's certainly looking like we're getting more and more fights as these two teams ready to skirmish, ready to brawl. As Nash's Tooth picked up by Crowny for his third item. Kind of the standard Kaiser build. Get a bit more burst. Get a bit more AP for that Void Seeker to tag up. Deal damage. Get the upgraded W as well. And it also puts you closer to the upgraded E. BDS, they're getting onto this Baron. Starting this one up. Flank is ready for Labrov. Going to be spotted out on this position. Hex Flash being channeled. Ready to go in as he gets tagged up by Nature's Grasp that's stolen. The engage comes through from Jarvan, who cataclysms himself to death. While Labrov, he stands in front of PSG and survives. Newt gets hooked and killed almost certainly as the Emperor's Vi does so much work by Maple, who gets onto the backside, gets Crowny down, but he's fighting Adam, who sustains right through him. BDS somehow have found 4 members of PSG, have found the kills, and with the Baron low, Shale can smite this and secure it. Ozzy trying to fight, trying to get all the buffs off of BDS, but that sapling gonna dissuade his fast walk forward, and he almost dies to the second. Big fight. And that is certainly game defining. Baron is secured by BDS with 3 kills going over to PSG in return. What a fight to say the least. And you keep your eyes on Labrov. He tanks all of PSG for basically forever, while Jinjai sacrifices himself kind of badly, I think. Then Maple gets an amazing abscond abduct onto Crowny, forcing him low, but the Killer Instinct shields him up and keeps him alive a little bit longer, but in the end he falls. As back to live, Drake is up. Hex Drake is the name of the game. And we're certainly looking for another fight as these Void Seekers starting to do work, starting to kill the health bars of PSG before they get anywhere near this objective. Adam and Labrov taking decent damage though on the backside. Cataclysm used onto Sheo, but it's cancelled, and the Drake is secured by the Maokai. Maple goes aggressive, misses the Abscond Abduct, and Adam is in his face. He's chasing them down. The Gnar forced back, and Labrov sweeps and kills Caitlyn. This is a one fight for BDS, and the game is theirs. That is a massive fight. Maple forced to back to base with the rest of his team falling next to him. What a fight. BDS, clean as you like. They've got Baron. The base is in their sights. The inhibitor soon to fall. The Nexus towers next to fall. You have to feel. In fact, they're not going to go too aggressive using the Hex Gates to get out. They know that they've got 5 minutes until Soul. They've got control of this game. And we watch this again. Kind of a misplay by Junjai. He uses a Cataclysm early and then cancels it. He wasn't really in a threat at that stage. And he could have honestly have kept the pressure on, allowed his team to get a kill onto Sheo. But look at what's happened. All of PSG gets scattered. And it's a great pick from Labrov to get onto the Caitlyn, get her into Crowny to get the kill onto a very immobile carry, as we say. Big, big plays from BDS's support and bot lane to get that fight for them. That's all that needs to be said. It's a great game overall from BDS. Granted, they were losing the early game. In fact, the gold lead is very slim, only 4k. There's still the chance for PSG to fight back in. And it's not like they're being outscaled. They've got great scaling with the Silas, who can go aggressive. Look at the damage he just did there with a stolen Nature's Grasp. He's got a Night Harvester as well. We were saying earlier, maybe we see Protobelt. Maybe we see Everfrost, but it's the full damage Night Harvester. Gives you the extra mobility as well as... On the other side of Rift, while we saw all the little trading come out from BDS who back away, Baron fell off. No reason to stick around. Gnar was obviously pushing topside, trying to get onto the inhibitor tower. Pushed the wave quite far. Wasn't able to kill that one off though. Ozzy maybe starting to regret going for the Hullbreaker. Not finding its full worth when he's forced to group up with the team. It's certainly a weird one, to say the least, because you want to be split pushing, but you're kind of needed in these fights. And as this game has gone on, the gold lead has been garnered by BDS, and it's allowed them to make it so that Ozzy's having to spend more and more time with his team, not able to benefit from the Hullbreaker. The good thing for him right now is he kind of can play inside and not really feel like there's a threat to the game because there's no objectives up. He's got to wait a minute before he needs to be worried about Baron, and it's a minute 30 till Soul. So he can play sides for a bit, and he's going to be TPing in on the flank, trying to pick off Nuke here. He can obviously Emperor's Divide him, sweep him to safety. That's going to be used there as a slide and glide away, but he's chased down, caught out, and Ozzy secures a kill. He invests his TP to get a pick onto the mid laner. 40 seconds until this Baron and Nuke will not be alive for it. BDS certainly need to be wary now of where they're going to be stood. And they're baiting here. They're hiding in the fog of war, ready to catch PSG when they try and go for the Hexgate. They do disengage, however, realizing maybe they're not going to be going for Baron. Maybe they're going to go for the Hexdrake, deny Soul, get themselves to Soul Point, and possibly delay the game long enough for them to get the soul in the end. But BDS not giving him that option, threatening the Baron pit. Junjai taken quite low as he goes aggressive onto Labrov. The Alistar ult forced out the headbutt. The pulverize does get a lot done. Junjai taken low, forced to flash out himself. Nuke is back alive, and Adam, he's going aggressive. The Ragnarok is popped, and Maple forced to go in. This is certainly a kill onto the mid laner of PSG, and BDS get the pick that matters more, and they're turning to this Baron and looking to secure. Never mind, they're not even going towards it. They're baiting PSG to check the pit. They're instead forcing them into a bad situation. They baited them in. Sheo in the area, ready to pop his ultimate if needs be. And Nuke, he's going to be flagged. He's going to be dragged. The Cataclysm comes through, but the Empress Divide does more. Now it's Sheo, caught on the wrong side of the rift, forced to flash. And, oh, Woody, you missed the flash of your own mate. Hex Soul secured by Crowny, though. While all that was going on, it was a ruse by BDS, buying time, allowing the big, powerful buff to go over to them. And in the end, all that happens is a pick trade between the two teams. Here, it's just Labrov getting caught out. It's a good pulverize. It looked like BDS wanted to follow it up, but it took too long, and in the end, Adam's just like, we cannot wait, and goes in, forces Maple to make the mistake, and then ends up with a kill. Now, BDS looking for the pick, as Ozzy goes way too far, caught out and bursted out by Crowny, who gets the kill, and no more nah means no more Wombo, and BDS almost certainly getting this Baron for free. Now, while this is happening, Labrov gonna deny any escape for PSG, chasing them down. Maple being kept busy. BDS with Baron get to push in. They get to go for the base. The recalls coming through from PSG a little slow because the waves are being pushed through by BDS. The mid wave actually is quite far away. Never mind, they've got some minions. This inhibitor being threatened. The cannon doing work. Top side, we've got Nuke pushing in for the tier 2. You have to feel if he gets this, he'll probably drop the Sun Disc. Never mind, I'm wrong. In the end, he's not even going to drop it. The issue for BDS right now is bot lane is not pushed out. As we watch this again, simply put, Ozzy goes through the Hex Gate, Ozzy dies. That's the easiest way to put it. He isolates himself, so he's getting full Hullbreaker buff, though. There's the bonus for doing that. It's not a good bonus, especially considering BDS killed you. And looking at Crowley's build, very interesting. Going full AP, sorta, kinda. It's AP with a slight hint of lethality. Weird, not gonna lie. Because you've got Deathcap, you've got Zhonya's. Is it bad that I think of Deathcap as quite bad? Because I play TFT. It's just weird. Anyway. As the game's gone on, BDS have control. Just watch these voice seekers. If they land, they're going to do a lot of tick damage, a lot of burn through the health bars. You've obviously got the Hex Soul doing work. As BDS, you have to feel Maokai gonna drop the Nature's Grasp and force onto this tier 3 if needs be. It isn't needed, and essentially what we see is PSG ceding pressure in the bot side. Nature's Grasp traded out by both teams. The Hex 01 does more as BDS bursting out Junjai's health bar. The Jarvan taken quite low, not able to use his ultimate just yet. Void Seeker goes wide, looking for Wacko, who is quite far forward. Furthest member forward for PSG. You have to feel if one lands, he's going to be jumped on, bursted out, and killed off by BDS. As the collapse is going to come through from Junjai. Caught out, and the buffer Poorly timed by the Jarvan. Gets hit up. Killed off. Crowny picks him off. And is actually jumped on. Maple forces his Zhonya's out. But the crash down Hex Flash combo from the Rel lands and shuts down Crowny. The fight looks good, but it's not good enough. PSG are routed as Adam just is a menace. The Undertow does so much damage. He gets stunned up. Shao uses a Nature's Grasp. Gonna be tagged up, you have to feel, as Adam getting aggressive. TP coming through. That's gonna be Nuke. He's getting the damage down to Leandries. Burns down Wacko. And that should be game 3 going to BDS in this do or die series. Game, set, but not match for PSG as BDS take us to 4. Honestly, game 4, what can I say? It was looking PSG favoured early, but BDS stepped it up. They caught out Ozzy when it mattered, got Baron, got Soul, got the game. That's the easy path to victory that they had there. And that does mean we go to 5. Game 4 went in favour of BDS. And yeah, let's talk game 5. I'm ready. Hope you guys are, because I certainly am not losing my voice. I need a drink though. Let me grab that. Let's do it. Game 5. And PSG on the back foot. 2 on the trot went to BDS. Back on red side they find themselves. And PSG, you kind of feel, need to adapt to what BDS have shown. The Kaiser has been a problem for both teams. And it's whoever gets that pick seems to have found the win. Now, BDS may end up banning it here, or PSG might. They are afraid of the pick more than anything. But as the bans stand, the same stock standard bans that we saw from BDS in Game 3, the Kennen and the Rumble removed. PSG removed the Kalista, the Desire, and the Ori. It looks like stock standard bans that we saw earlier in the series. What will BDS ban out here? I'd assume the Kaiser. They don't want to give Wacko a pick that's worked. It's a hard thing to deal with. And when this pick has been down, Wacko's gone to picks that aren't necessarily that strong. He's gone to Aphelios. He went to something last game. And here, who knows what we see. As PSG hovering through the picks, goes for the Rel. Get the steady engage. Now, Woody looked kind of bad on it in game number 3. Didn't necessarily land the best of combos with the pick. But hey, game 5, do or die. You draft comfort. You go for things that are strong. And I'm certainly thinking Rel is strong in the meta right now. But BDS, what they think is strong is Maokai. The zone control this champion gets is huge. You can see, looking at Crowny, look at how he's reacting. A lot of stress knowing it's the last game, 5th games of the series, where the pressure is on both teams. It's death to one of them. No, one team must win, one team must lose. And it has to come down to this last game. Simple as that. PSG into their second rotation as Alistar, the pickup for Labrov. He found success on it in Game 3. And in fact, it looks like BDS going to what they had success on in Game 3. The issue is, they don't have the Kaiser that they found that success on. Aphelios comes through for Wacko. Pick that isn't like the Caitlyn. which he picked in Game 3, I've remembered, it certainly has a similar sort of low mobility, but there's more utility in his kit compared to the Caitlyn. Paired alongside it is Dinar from Game 3. It's a lot of similarities between that game. Will it be a similar result? Only time will tell, as the last pickup for this first rotation, you have to feel, will be ADC for BDS. Secure something for Crownie. It looks like he wants to get his pick now, and it is going to be Zeri. It's mobility, it's a pick that can do well with an Alistar paired alongside it, and a Maokai, to be honest. You've got the ability to get in, get the damage down, and looking at the comp PSG have so far, if the Nar is not in Mega, because bear in mind, Nar and Rel looked like the weak points of PSG in that last game that we broke down. They certainly felt like it in Game 3. But they're still here. And Nuke, if he can get onto them, if Crownie can get the damage down onto them, certainly will be able to delete their health bars quite effectively. As bans are coming through thick and fast to the mid lane. Nico removed once more. LeBlanc, Azir removed on top of that by either team. You have to feel maybe one more gets thrown into the mid lane bonanza. It's going to be the Cassio. So a lot of bans there, as you can tell by Nuke. He's upset his Cassio is removed. But look at what's open. There's Syndra. There's Victor. I mean, it's not an ideal pick, but it's there. Now, locked in, so BDS don't have to show their mid pick, and Darius comes through for Adam. He's gone to comfort. He's gone to something he's found success on regionally. It's a great pick for him, and I think BDS certainly will look to push this champion to deal with Dinar. As the game gets later, he'll be able to burn through his health bar and do work as Jarvan locked in, and the Talia. We said earlier in the series, Talia paired with Jarvan, not a good combination here at Worlds. Low win rate overall for them. And it's coming through for PSG here. Yikes, maybe, is what we need to say. Last pick for BDS, going for the Tristana. Double ADC combination for them. Kind of surprising, to say the least, because it has put them at a state where they have very little AP. So if the Nar, if the Jarvan and Rel go full armor, it's going to be very hard for BDS to shred through them. Now, the game state is getting warmed up. We're getting onto the Rift almost in a minute. And I think of the two drafts, I like PSG's more. Granted, the fact that we have seen some flops from a few of these picks from them makes it a little less in their favour than what I would have thought before Game 3. But here, in Game 5, do or die for both teams. They've gone to a combo. They've gone to champions that can secure control. Champions that are able to dominate lane, dominate their opponents, and not allow them to have freedom on the Rift that BDS want. They've got a Trist, a massive, and I do mean massive, turret killing machine. We mentioned there's 3 champions that are big turret killers. Caitlyn, Ziggs, and Tristana. Them 3 want to get early turret plating. They want to get the towers down. And I think what we'll end up seeing, priority towards Herald, for once for BDS in this series. They gave it up Game 1. They got barely anything in Game 1, to be honest. They gave it up in Game 3. They tried to fight for it, but didn't succeed. Game 5, they need to fight and secure it to get Nuke this gold, to get him to his powerful state. Taking a look at the ruins, nothing out of the ordinary. Fleet footwork for the Darius, actually. Trying to keep sustain against Nah. He hasn't got the abilities or the passives that Olaf had in Game 3, where he can just heal up through the Nah damage. And so here, probably looking for more aggressive trading. More than anything, get the Hemoplague stacks down and do work that way. Now, as the start stand, it was a standard 5 fan, but PSG, bot side, get aggressive early, pushing in the face of Labrov, who's forced to potion early. Not good for him, as lane control is ceded by BDS. Once Wacko hits level 2, when he unlocks his Q, you certainly feel a little less certain if you're the BDS laners, especially considering he has the green gun to outrange the Zeri, not allow her onto this wave. And with the cool start for Wacko, you kind of feel he wants to get early lane control. He wants to continue to CS and out damage Crowny as the game gets later and later into the game by having the extra eco. And what do you know? As the starts continue to grow, as the teams start to fire up, the game starting to get into a bit of a heated state. You certainly feel the pressure is on for both teams, as Maokai slightly behind on his clear, kind of normal to say the least, versus Jarvan, the extra mobility the champion has. And in fact, Sheo skipping out on camps, looking to catch out Wacko. Zeri dashing forward. Great Q out from Woody there. Denies any engage forward as the flash comes through from both the supports. Labrov's in a defensive fashion allows him to get to safety. A lot invested there actually by Wacko. Uses both his ignite and his flash to get essentially just the flash out. The Hex Flash comes through, Woody head-butted away, locked in the pit, no flash, and now Sheo in a sticky situation. That's the Gravitum out, and BDS's collapse comes through. Crowny though, forced the flash because he knew if he stayed he was dead. BDS, bit too aggressive for the support, you have to feel, but somehow it's a trade of summoners. Jungler flashes are down. The big summoner though that fell was Crowny's flash. He will not have that for the foreseeable future. And that probably will result in a bit of a issue as topside, Ozzy taken quite low. And Dom dealing the damage out with his Darius hitting level 3. Oh, Adam, you've walked into Junjai. Flag and drag comes through, but the house misses. And the trading coming back. Adam's Darius gets aggressive, pops his ghost. Runs back to the minions, and he's just happy to farm up. Sheo here, jumping back to safety. We could have honestly saw first blood there if I overstepped, if Ozzy played a bit too aggressive. But Adam, great play, knowing the limits of his champion. Considering he's on very low mana now, he certainly used all his limit, that's for sure. But as the game stands, we're sitting 5 minutes in. 300 gold is the lead to PSG. No first blood just yet, and probably won't expect it for another couple of minutes. Nerves obviously will play a factor into game number 5. A lot more than it will in the previous few games. But as it stands, XP fairly even across the lanes. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I guess the bot lane is the big one though. As Wacko up a considerable a lot. Obviously has the culls. Oh, his farm and the gold that he's getting is a lot more worthwhile to him. However, Crowny sitting 20 CS down in lane means that pressure for this Drake has to be seeded by BDS. Now, we didn't say they needed to get early Drakes. We said they needed to get early Rift Heralds. However, Drakes would be beneficial as Brov channeling the Hex Flash. BDS in the area, trying to dissuade this Drake take. As that is Maple using a Weaver's Wall, trying to catch out. Great Buster Shot out from Nuke. But it is first blood over to PSG. As Wacko, he's taken quite low, forced to disengage. But the second kill goes over to BDS. They get the Drake. They get 2 kills, but lose first blood. Oh, Crowny forced to cleanse out. No summoners now on this Zeri. Could be very, very hard to play this lane even more. You hate to see it as BDS find a foot in game number 5. They've got a bit of an advantage mid lane. Nuke gonna cash out a little bit of turret plating as well. This really should not have happened. The Weaver's Wall sections Nuke away. Woody tries to bring the crash down onto Nuke to allow his team to go for a fight there onto basically one side. But Nuke plays it well. Buster shots Woody back into his team. Does not allow him to get in. And that means he dies. While on the other end of it, essentially, we just see Maple killing off Lebrov, who isn't really able to do much. Now, Rift Herald started up by PSG. We did say we wanted BDS to get these early. They're not able to. And honestly, I don't think they really care too much, considering Nuke's sitting on 2 kills. He's going to even out the CS after this wave's picked up. He's going to have constant push as well over Maple. And so, relatively speaking, I think Nuke's happy. Drake also secured by BDS means that they're not going to be having to worry about PSG rushing Soul. So, as a whole, it is kind of beneficial to BDS's state of the game. Now, the issue for them is the Drakes that are currently shown is a Mountain and an Infernal, which means Soul could be potentially 2 of the worst Souls in the game, Chemtech or Cloud. Now, with how this World Championships has been, Cloud Soul looking most likely, especially in Korea. But yeah, it is what it is, and BDS certainly not opposed to a Cloud Soul. You think about the Nature's Grasp, the Darius getting extra movement speed, the ability to chase out is actually quite huge, to say the least. So, if that were the Soul, it's kind of great for BDS. Now, whether or not that is the Soul, only time will tell. In fact, we'll find out probably in a minute 40's time. As both teams starting to path down here. Already investing a bit of vision, trying to secure the area. Lebrov clearing out PSGs though. And the game gets to a state like this where neither team really want to fight just yet. They want to just scale up, get their items. Obviously, first items not picked up just yet. Crowny trying to get towards the Star Razors. Good back denial there from Maple, who probably is going to go Leandries with the Talia. Gore Drinker being built up by Jarvan. And interestingly, Darius has rushed himself Stoneplate. Finally picked up a pickaxe and a Kindle Gem. So I'm intrigued by what Adam built here. Because he's building a bit more resistance. Obviously, game 3 on Olaf, he built Jack Showers into Anar. So, knowing him, he'll probably build something a bit more defensive to deal with his counterpart in Arzi. And I think that will make the most sense, to say the least. Because then he'll be able to just deal with him a little bit easier than sitting, getting hit by boomerangs constantly and dying because of it. Surprisingly though, Darius has got himself a nice CSD lead, 20 CS up on his lane opponent. And Ozzy kind of hasn't been able to match it. Sheo setting up around this Infernal Drake. PSG well aware of the play that BDS want to go for, so they dropped Herald in mid. They're going to try and secure a decent chunk of damage onto this. Only plating goes over to Junjai here. So, not the most beneficial of Heralds. In fact, that was kind of a waste of that thing. Labrov gets caught out, chunk quite low. Forced to ult way late. And now BDS forced to retreat off. No support means no engage, which kind of means no fight. And while kind of criticizing the PSG Herald there, it has resulted in them getting the Infernal Drake, and Cloud winds have quickened on the Rift here. As Cloud Soul is the prize these two teams will be fighting for. I kind of already knew that, but hey. As we see it, it's a very beneficial soul to BDS if you think about it. To be fair, it's also beneficial to PSG, but I think BDS will like it more, to say the least. As the two teams start to position back up to the top side of the Rift. As Rift Herald numero 2 is spawning in 40 seconds. Labrov already hanging out up here with his Bezzy mate Adam. And, you know, BDS kind of in a situation where they're getting to a point where if they hadn't have taken the first Drake, it's almost looking like a game without any objectives for them, to be honest. There's good dodge there by Sheo on the, Nuke on the, Scryer's Bloom. He wasn't revealed, but he shows himself anyway on the wave, pushes that one out. At BDS, that lane economy snapshot, really interesting to say the least, because it's about 1k gold over to BDS in that regard, versus 1.2, 1.3 for PSG. So as it stands, PSG are slightly ahead on the lane ecom. I wish that they'd give us an updated HUD for Worlds, you know, one that's actually even across the bottom. I kind of wish they just used the LEC HUD. Like, that is so much better than any HUD in League. Don't at me. I wish they just used that system, to be honest. I prefer it. But hey. It annoys me constantly. But what isn't annoying is team fights, and these two teams setting up for it. But Maple uses the Weaver's Wall to keep BDS out the pit, and Rift Herald number 2 goes over to PSG. The interesting thing there was Maple was sat in mid lane as well when he used that, so he was controlling the mid, not allowing BDS to get anything there. and he was controlling the Herald Pit, not allowing BDS to get anything there. As top side, Ghost Shoes, Strikebreaker also out from Adam. He's going aggressive, gets the Hemo Plague down, and Ozzy falls to the God King himself. Darius is online, and BDS fighting back into this game. You have to feel it certainly felt PSG had control. They controlled the objectives perfectly there, but Adam, he catches out the Gnar and he gets himself the kill as Nature's Grass thrown out. Junjai rooted up. Nuke in the Cataclysm, forced a buster shot away the Jarvan. While this is happening, Adam securing first turret of the game for BDS, getting himself further in a lead, getting an advantage for BDS outright. We were saying a few seconds ago that PSG were in the lead. Now it's certainly BDS with a bit more control as teams have split out into the side lanes. Nuke on this Tristana, able to start to get pressure out onto the Rift for himself. Crowny just going to sit in mid as well. He's happy doing that for the team as we get the cool cinematic kill for Adam. It's just a Darius auto attack cancelled into max stack of Hemo Plague. When the executing ult comes through, he chunks out basically all of Gnar's health so that the ticks from his passive just kill him off. It's just the simple Darius mechanics used effectively on a mini Gnar, which is considered one of the weakest champions in terms of sustain in the game, on the similar sort of terms as Yuumi for that sort of thing. But what's happening right now is actually very, very interesting, as PSG secure 2 towers for themselves, going to get a lot of pressure in this mid lane, with the Herald crashing onto the tier 2 as well. The trade, though, is BDS get themselves their second Drake. They get themselves a tier 1 in the bot side, as BDS fighting on 2 fronts here, as Adam almost was caught out, denied any sort of escape by the Weaver's Wall, but he doesn't get fully chased down. PSG forced it back away because the BDS collapse was too strong. And now we're getting fruity. The game state is even. The cold is negligible. And I think with a minute off Baron, that's probably where we're going to see the next big fight. One of these teams is definitely going to get antsy and try and get that objective. It kind of feels like someone will want to just get it so they have control. To get it so that they feel they can win it. Because let's be honest, PSG, they've got a good team fighting comp, so they will want to force BDS into them. Whereas BDS have a good turn comp, where they can control zones with the Maokai ult, control the engage with the Alistar. And this is looking like a fight as Labrov goes aggressive, the Pulverize comes through, and Junjai forced into Adam. The Cataclysm was used. Nature's Grass tags onto Woody, who is targeted by BDS and bursted out. Sheo secures the first kill of the fight, and it looks like the only kill is PSG forced to run away. Maybe not, they're continuing to push forward. Ozzy stepping forward. Meganar almost ready. Red buff somehow is still being fought over by both teams. PSG in the area still. Smite secure by Junjai. Means that, hey, PSG may have given over a kill onto their support, but the red buff is worth more, baby. And as things go, I kind of agree, supports aren't worth that much. As here, look at Labrov. He kind of baits him flashing over the wall, but he goes in, gets a great combo onto PSG, which kind of forces them to disengage. And as they're kind of pathing in an awkward angle, it means that at least one is getting tagged by Nature's Grasp that's used there by Sheo. It inevitably is a support, and supports at this stage of the game, 0 items complete, just components, are very squishy. And so BDS get the kill, and possibilities here, Sheo getting caught out, force the flash. Great use of the Q flash there. Times that perfectly to not allow Maple to push him back into the loving arms of PSG. Now, the issue is for BDS, their jungler is without flash, and so PSG could honestly threaten the Baron here, as the tools that Sheo has to get into the pit is very small. He'd have to walk in. Nature's Twisted Advance, if he sees a target, obviously, is the other option. But, like, you'd probably prefer a flash. Now, as things stand, BDS have a slightly better control of the map. What am I saying? They've got a TP flank. That's the best way to put it. They've got a wall behind. Don't know how useful that is, considering no one has TP available and Adam doesn't run it on Darius. Instead, he just teams up with his team, grouping up, getting essentially a very awkward state in the map, because Ozzy's just able to split push on the side. Adam forced to run back up top. No TP, remember. And so he's kind of awkwardly playing this. Now, PSG just back it up. Realize BDS grouping up themselves, trying to give Adam some safety to push out the wave. As mid, Cranny left on his own to do the same thing. As it stands, the game, the gold, still in favor of BDS. Only slightly, though, as Adam is basically in a 1v1 with Wacko for most gold in the game. Now, what I will say is that pullback deletes the Aphelios. Big pick there for BDS as they get the kill onto the ADC. Their opponent, the guy with the gold, gets got. And now Baron is in their sights. TP forced out. BDS trying to protect the Baron. They're being harassed. The Weaver's Wall section him off. The pullback from Adam. Labrov in the backside, trying to allow BDS to secure the objective. Labrov gets killed as Nuke goes aggressive. He's caught out on the side of the bus shop, not in time, and he gets shut down. That's 2 kills over to PSG, but the Baron secured by BDS. Drake, though, is on the eyes of PSG right now. And they're going for it. They've got their sights on this objective, and they're going to secure it. No contest from BDS, forced to obviously reset. And with the control that PSG have, there's no real fight to have. As here, it's just a flash. Pullback from Adam. Kills off any chances of Wacko using summoners to escape. And he does in fact burn him in the end. To no avail. Then it's Labrov protecting his team's Baron attempt. PSG get the kill here. Nuke maybe a bit too aggressive. Bad timing, obviously, on the ultimate as well. It means that he gets pulled in and bursted out by PSG. And they're killed off where they stand. The good thing, though, for BDS is they've secured Baron, even though it's going to be a very low eco one. Considering right now, they've not got much, as Labrov goes aggressive, gets chunked out, force ult. Moonlight Vigil lands, and it does a lot of damage to basically all BDS. Labrov, a bit too aggressive there, my friend, considering you only tagged up Woody with your QW. But hey, it is what it is, and yeah, we don't need to see the goal graph. It's been close. That's the simple way to describe this game. It's been close until it hasn't. BDS finally finding a bit of control as Cataclysm's used that shell trapped in the pit, forced the flash out. We said he'd go a bit more AP heavy with the build. He's got himself the Demonic Embrace and Radiant Virtue. He's going to be doing little bits of tick, tick, tick damage to the enemy team. That's kind of annoying, all things considered. If we probably see a damage graph right now, it's probably quite high up there because them saplings constantly being thrown out, and it's very hard for PSG to kind of deal with them. Now, BDS with 20 seconds roughly left on this Baron, looking to force the tier 2 bot side. The Baron will time out as the minions hit the tower, but the Nature's Grasp is used. It's going to try and force PSG back. In the end, it results in the tower falling and BDS retreating back to safety. Now, game state, 27 minutes in. BDS have a little bit of control, but you have to feel PSG, certainly after getting a couple picks here and there, feel like they can take the fights. Feel like they've certainly got themselves in a state where, if they're able to lay down the Weaver's Wall, they're able to secure areas in the map that dissuades BDS's advancements, dissuades any sort of team fight. They'll be happy because their objective control throughout the series has been very good, especially against a BDS squad who loves to play for objectives. Throughout the LEC, this team has been the Drake taking kings. They tend to give up Herald. It's a known fact. BDS don't really focus Herald. They focus Drakes, stack them up, and it makes it so that their opponents are forced to fight against a comp that's outscaled you and done a lot of work with it. Now this series, BDS haven't really found that footing. Game 4 was the closest thing to that, however. But Game 5 here, objectives have been relatively even. 2 Heralds over to PSG for a Baron, and 2 Drakes apiece, means that, honestly, with 4 towers apiece, the objective control's been even. And that is usually a weird place to be if you're BDS. A weird one. Because ideally, they want to be sat with Soul right now. But with how PSG have used the Weaver's Wall to control areas, with how they've denied essentially plays because they've caught out the right target, denied the engagement from Labrov, it means that PSG have gotten themselves to this even state. Even if the gold lead is still in BDS's favor by 2k, you won't see that in combat gold. The items are very even. PSG, I think, will feel really like they can win this next fight. And with how aggressive these two teams are certainly standing right now, it's looking like we will see something, as that is the pullback coming from Adam, who gets Seismic shoved back into the damage. But look at the Chakrams doing work. Wacko kills off the top lane, destroys BDS's aggressive player with no TP on that top side as well. It means this Baron is almost certainly free. With BDS stepping forward, Nature's Grasp actually used. He gets in the pit, but it is not in time. Smite was not even needed as Aphelios secures the objective. PSG disengage with the Baron and a kill. Now, BDS trying to do what PSG did to them and sneak away the Cloud Drake. They want to get this, but TP is coming through. That's going to be Ozzy going to the top side. He knows that Nuke's the only one with that. Summoner will not even use it, however. In fact, he's going back to base. Ozzy looking to push in. Crowny shows up, though, in time. This tier 2 on the top side won't fall, but look at the pressure being mounted by PSG. Constant pushing coming through. Already onto the inhibitor tower in the mid lane. 3 members showing a little bit of a weird one. Actually, it's 4 because Maple's down the bot side. He's trying to pressure in for a 3-lane push. The press being set up. It means that BDS are going to be squeezed for the next minute and 50 seconds. And that's certainly a hard state as the tier 2 bot side is next target for PSG. Setting up for this. Clearing out BDS's vision in their own jungle as well. It's certainly control from PSG, especially now the Weaver's Wall comes through. The inhibitor tower should fall because PSG have full control of the area. BDS, no chance of getting in there. Unless you want to sacrifice Nuke for it. Or Crowny. They both have jumps. Anyway, back to actuality plays as Jarvan gets locked up and knocked into the air. Takes a massive chunk of damage from the Tristana. You have to feel Nuke has to be the big damage dealer for BDS. Sitting very comfortably with that gold in his back pocket. As here, Adam gets a bit too spicy onto Junja. And he gets immediately knocked back into all the damage. Gets hit by the Moonlight Vigil that's in crescendum form. Means that the extra long-range chakram stacks get fired out and kill off the top laner. As surprising as it is with how tanky Adam has gone, we were saying he'd probably go for a more tankier build considering what he did with Olaf. He's gone for Dead Man's Plate, so he has, and Randuin's Omen, so he has armor. He's got Chase down as well. So really, Adam's looking to frontline and looking to pull in the targets. Because you think, he's going to be trying to get onto Maple. He's going to be trying to get onto Wacko. And the peel for PSG needs to be perfect, like it was there, in order to shut him down. Now, 33 minutes into the game, PSG have control, pushing in the waves. Obviously, Baron has fallen off them. They're looking certainly to get at least one more inhibitor tower before they take a reset ahead of the soul fight for BDS in 2 minutes time. Weaver's Wall thrown out, used a bit too poorly there. Maple a little late on that one because the minions aren't able to get onto the inhibitor. They do secure the inhib tower, however, as they engage. Possibly gonna be used. Labrov gets onto the backline and our ultimate used to push him back, but already shut down is Ozzy. On the chase is Adam looking to get onto Junjai, who's smites the Darius, dissuades him from going any further forward. That's going to be a pick onto the top laner of PSG, and BDS happy with that trade, especially considering they didn't really invest that much, as topside Adam, unaware of the looming danger as he steps forward, caught up, flag and dragged into the seismic shove. The rel here does work. The TP though coming through. Nuke is coming through. The Magnet Storm used. The Cataclysm is huge. Maple gets the kill and the TP from Nuke to boot. That's a bit of an overcommit from BDS and an unlucky maneuver from Adam. He thought he could fight all three, but in the end he gets deleted. As here, it's just a great headbutt pull from Labrov. It forces the Gnar ultimate out to deny him from basically getting his E onto the Aphelios. And because not without ultimate is very easy to kill, because he basically has no abilities other than that, he essentially gets traded out. And in the end, it's just a trade of top laners. And surprisingly, Junjai almost died in the end of that essential 2v4, 2v3. At the end of that, obviously, Adam's still dead. It means BDS can't really contest this Drake, and both teams have ended up on Soul Point. Oh, this game, it's getting spicy. 36 minutes in. It feels like it's going to go extremely long as Baron spawning. BDS are already in position to go for the objective. Flank possibly going to be set up by them as well, as Adam cataclysmed on top of Labrov on the side. He denies Maple's advancement. Nature's Grass comes through and the Baron is secured by BDS. Labrov goes aggressive and gets denied the pulverize. Now PSG need to deny the backs. Don't allow any Barons to escape. That's going to be the pushback from the Maokai as Adam gets sacrificed off here. PSG chasing forward. Maokai caught out, knocked up, and killed. That's 2 kills over to PSG as a house lands onto Labrov. He is dead. That's 3 Barons gone from BDS. Crowny pushing the wave in the mid lane. He knows he needs to do this. Deny any form of aggression that PSG can get with 3 members down. Allow them to keep their base alive. Nuke does the same on the bot side. And all the minion waves are gone. PSG forced to essentially crash the waves up themselves, deny the enemy minions, but Nuke unable to get too much done in the bot side means that they get the inhibitor here, PSG. They get 2 inhibitors actually in the end of this. Both mid and bot. They just brute force it. And here, the Baron looks good. It's a great maneuver by Labrov to deny Maple's advancement. Granted, it wouldn't have resulted in him going much further than he did. Here, that stun onto Labrov denies the lockup of Junjai, which you had to feel would have been the go signal for BDS, considering they need to realistically find a fight. Ozzy, though, he stacks up the Mega, goes aggressive, and gets the stuns he needs. Adam falls. In fact, it surprises me how easy it is for PSG to pick off members of BDS during that fight. And, you know, personally, I think what we're going to end up seeing is BDS needing to force the objective like that again. The gold that they've got from Sparran, minimalistic at best. It's only on 2 members. It's the carries who cannot be caught out. If they die, the game's well and truly over. And that's kind of why we see Crowny sitting with GA. Nuke probably going to go for that for his last item. Both are on 4 items. In fact, Crowny's full build. Both ADCs are full build between the 2 teams. And it's going to come down to execution more than anything. Full builds usually mean that is the case, as Cloud Soul, the prize for either team in a minute 30, feels like that will be the decider of the game. BDS setting up already for the objective, clearing out the vision in the backside of PSG's jungle, possibly setting up TP flanks for Nuke. It's not the most ideal champion for TP flanks, but it does give him avenues in to possibly go for pushes into the base of PSG. Possible just XPK moments. The backdoors are there. Or base races. This is why BDS have got this deep vision. And it's why Nuke is getting to step forward right now and push in the spot side. Isn't going to go too aggressive. In fact, Labrov's position of him protecting Nuke going to be spotted out. And now BDS need to get onto the Rift as soon as possible. 24 seconds until Soul is on the table for both teams. And as things stand, Junja overstepping in the mid lane possibly. Showing his face not near the Drake pit. 7 seconds until the do or die fight you have to feel. Labrov on the flank. Not going to be spotted just yet. You have to feel that PSG are aware of it. Maple going to spot him out now as the Nature's Grasp is thrown out into the pit. Goes Junjai, but he's locked up, knocked up. That's going to be Soul secured for BDS. And Moonlight Vigil goes wide and Junja taken low. Both teams escape from the pit. And in the end, it's Soul for BDS. PSG get absolutely nothing. Not even any summoners. In fact, the only summoner used that's got any impact is Junja's Flash. Baron now becomes the focal point for these two teams. Because, let's be honest, push cannot really come out from either of them. It's a stalemate in that regard. And objectives define this game. Soul is on BDS, so you have to feel the chase down potential. The ability to reposition is in their favour. The fact that the possibilities of BDS winning this game from how badly it went early is surprising. PSG crushed them after the second Baron and looked to secure a win. As on the bot side, the minions are going to be pushing in constantly as the super minions are going to do work. Labrov finding the flank he needs to get. And this is vaguely familiar to how he won Rookie of the Split seasons ago. Nature's Grasp thrown out, tags out Woody, who gets this area output onto him. Great dodge there by Labrov on the Cataclysm. And no more lockdown for PSG as Wacko is bursted and forced to resurrect. He gets shut down by Nuke as the double kill comes through. A triple kill for the ADC. Make it the Quadra as BDS find 5 and look to win Game 5 of this series and advance to the Swiss stage. It looks like sighs of relief on their faces after such an amazing fight. A gruesome game where all 5 looked dire. It looked like it would come down to one fight, and it certainly did. Labrov did wonders, forced the spells out from Junjai, who wasn't able to lock up the carries anymore, and BDS did everything they needed to advance to the Swiss stage. What a game for all 5 games. We broke down 3 of them. Insanity across the board you have to feel in that Game 5. Neck and neck throughout it all, and surprising that it took that long. Because this was a long series. What was the final game time? 43 minutes. Wow. Thank goodness it finished before 45. If you know, you know. But anyway. BDS, honestly, in this series, showed something a little bit different, I would say, because they're known for objective control. They weren't really given that opportunity in this series. PSG fought them tooth and nail for control, and BDS had to adapt throughout it all. You saw through draft the different picks they showed, and it ended with them basically just doing enough work to get the wins. Now, that was actually the longest game of play-ins, and you kind of could see why. Now, what I will say is, I enjoyed that. a lot more than the GAM. And, you know, realistically speaking, going into the knockout stages, if we look at the main event, we've got the match list finally. I'm going to be doing a prediction video, by the way, tomorrow. Expect it to be very late. I've obviously got to record all the clips for that. Actually, I'm going to actually switch to, I'm going to put my face on. Why not? Hi. Hopefully my webcam turns on. Hi. There I am. But yeah, gonna be honest, looking at them games, who do BDS have? Because it's a tier 1 team. I think they've got a hard one. They got JDG, don't they? They do. They have JDG. So a hard matchup. I'm interested by it, to say the least, because it's Knight versus Nuke and 369 versus Adam. Now, I have a JDG jersey back there. I got it because they won MSI. Kind of a big sign as to who you think I'm going to predict to win. But the Swiss stage is going to be interesting to me. I'm not going to say this during tomorrow's video recording, but basically the Swiss stage, I'm going to go full screen, but the Swiss stage is interesting to me because as a whole, with how it works, with you go up or down based on if you win or lose a best of 1, which I wish it was best of 3 still, because then you could do seeding still with win-loss difference, like 2-1s or 2-0 wins. It means that you get better, like seeding means you get side select, you know, that would help, I personally feel, compared to best of 1s, which are up to chance. Like, don't get me wrong, Pool 1 seed should be receiving more of a benefit than Pool 4. Like, they should have side select for Series 1. Only Series 1. Then it should go down to essentially whoever has the more wins. Like, actually, would that work? The better win-loss diff, shall we say. And then it should go down to game time. That's my personal take on best of 3s instead for the Swiss stage instead. Because who would not want a best of 3 between Damwon and E2? Like, that would be such an insane thing. Like, BLGKT, another one that I would really like to, I'm really going to enjoy. There's a lot of good games here. And I can't wait to actually predict them. And I can't wait to see NA lose. That's a fun one. I'll probably say this also during the video, though. This is something I'll say during the video. It's literally 8 games for one day. Like, all of them are happening on the 19th. So in 2 days. Good luck in me doing literally 8 goddamn games in a stream. And then it goes down to another 8 games. Literally on the next day. And then I think it does the same thing. Except it's going to be eliminations. I might honestly do my top 3 games. I think I'll only do 3. I think that makes the most sense for me. So, I'll announce them tomorrow as we go through each of them. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. A bit of a long one. Full 2 hours, 40 minutes. Long for me, I should say. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, leave a like down below. I'm gonna have fun looking at this, looking back on this, because first time we're doing a lot of streams and a lot of longer content, to say the least. It's a shame I can't invest more time into streaming at the moment with work, because I finish at 5, get home, start streaming at 6:30. The space between 5 and 6:30 is my relaxation time, and kind of getting myself prepped to stream, eating my dinner, because as I start the stream, I'm usually still eating. So there's that. But yeah, when it comes to later, okay, I might as well talk for a bit. But I'm looking to do some more streams. I'm looking to do more daily content again. Not literal video after video after video. That got to a point for me where I was like burnt out just doing videos. Because I wasn't having fun, because I felt like I had to do the content and do that. It's why you don't see all the games, because it does burn me out a little bit. But I do enjoy doing games. It's fun. I like doing the casting aspect of it, doing the breakdowns, the analysis, because I pick up on things that you may not notice. Like, even in the casts, I may reiterate things that they say, because it's notable. But I also pick up things that you won't necessarily see, and it's nice to point out, because it makes it different. It's new content, and it makes it better. But hey, I'm looking forward to next year. That's all I'm going to say. Because December is a write-off. I'm not here. And don't expect much content. That's a simple way of wording it. I haven't got anything planned. And I certainly don't want to be doing anything for my holiday. I'm taking a full month off work. There's that. Coming into January and the new year, the new season, you're going to see a new look. I've technically teased this already. Not on my YouTube or anywhere. I've teased the new look, though. And what it should mean is, I'm probably going to do streams not on Tuesdays. I hate doing streams today, because I cycle home, and that takes me 45 minutes to cycle from work to here. And I feel like shit. You already know I've been sick. So that's why you didn't get these streams on Saturday or Sunday. I would have done it on Saturday, but I was curled up in my bed, just sleeping with my dog next to me. And I wish I wasn't. I would love to have done this content all day. Because I'm now rushing to make the prediction video tomorrow. Which I have no clue what I'm predicting. And knowing me, you know my predictions are going to be, well, it could go either way. That's how I usually address them, isn't it? But, hey, a lot of these games could go either way. I'm going to say it already. They could go either way. Yeah, we'll do the full official predictions tomorrow. And I can choose which series we want to do. And the interesting thing is, the series we do go, with how the Swiss stage works, with how teams will move up and down, so like we could get teams facing off down here, I'll probably aim to do the elimination matchups. I think they will be the interesting ones, because when you're 0-2 or 1-2, do or die, you're going to be in an awkward situation. And here's the thing. Essentially, I haven't decided yet my top 3 games that I want to cover. There's a couple I want to do. And then there's a few that I think will be sort of left to wayside and allowed to boil over, shall we say? Because, of course they will be. I think that with how it's set up, we're going to end up seeing some teams a couple of times at least with how I want to do it. Because if we're covering the elimination games, the winner of the first elimination game will be in another elimination game. If they win that, they can go into another elimination game. You see, there's the issue there. So, like, essentially, this is hypotheticals, shall we say. G2 can lose to Damwon, go into the second round, lose to T1, who somehow lose to Team Liquid. Don't ask me how that works. And then they're in the elimination bracket. They can face KT, beat them. Then they face Weibo, beat them. So then, sat at 2-2, then they're in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th bracket matchup, I believe. Or they need to win one more series, and then they're in that matchup. Win that, then they're through. Essentially. Actually, wait, no. If they win 2 elimination matches, they're through to the 7th, 8th. Because 2 teams will have already been eliminated, won't they? 2, 4, 6... 10, 12, 14, 16. 16 teams. First matchup, 8 losers. Then there's 4v4. Then it's down to 2v2. So that'll be the elimination matchup, 2v2. Eliminate them. So then 2 down. That leaves 14 teams. Eliminate 2 more. So you're down to dumb amounts, so 8 teams. I don't know how the bracket works, I'm gonna lie. But basically you could see a team multiple times over the coming days. And oh boy, you're not getting multiple Swiss videos, I can tell you that, because it's going to be impossible for me to do that. 8 games a day. Pain. Anyway, I think it's time I wrap it up. I spent some time talking to you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around there, if you want to. I'll see you guys not tomorrow. Well, technically tomorrow in a video. I'll see you guys Thursday for